Hello.
Hello.
So are we gonna start out with some Hideo Kojima leather jacket energy? Are we gonna start out with some um, Hideo Kojima? It's okay. We're okay.
Uh okay. Took me a second. Took me a second. Cuz I was thinking about like that fall poem he wrote about how he misses his old leather jacket
Hmm.
that
Um.
I remember reading and being like, "Tell me about MGS4, you motherfucker. I don't care about your sentiment of your leather jacket, man."
Well, yeah. So the every week we reset the clock as we talk about the layoffs and shutdowns and all of that that's happening. This week, right off the bat, hey, Rooster Teeth shut down, and that news has. I'm sure if you haven't heard, we'll break it here for you. But the podcast section of it, the Roost, which is what we are a part of, it does continue to exist. So that is we're here. You're hearing us.
Hey,
We're
what's
okay for
up?
now. And
Hey, wait a
the
second, Wooly.
rest,
Doesn't Warner Brothers own Rooster Teeth?
they sure do.
That's crazy how it's Warner Brothers again.
They sure do.
Hey, wait a second. Wooly, doesn't Warner Brothers own the distribution rights for the 61 Adult Swim games that are getting delisted off of Steam for literally no reason?
That's correct. Apparently, according checking my notes here, yes. In fact, that's Warner Brothers. Yeah, so Duck Game is at risk. Um, but yeah, no. So that's pretty much a shit show, and that sucks. And I guess what in terms of I guess the effect is for anybody listening to this is you probably can't buy our shirts anymore.
Yeah, then we will continue to not update the website. The Castle Super Beast part of the Rooster Teeth website.
That's what that ends up meaning. But obviously, yeah, no, like that just fucking. It's a Warner bloodbath, and that shit.
The hell are they gonna do when there's nothing left to slash and burn?
Um, I mean, there's that song with the quote: "When there's nothing left to burn, you have to set yourself on fire."
I don't think they're gonna do that.
Yeah, I don't know, but they'll bring MultiVersus back, so there's that. Like,
Man, like that.
it's coming back. Yeah.
So I don't know. You saw like they put out a tweet for Multiverses was like testing 1, 2, 3.
Is this thing on?
And like it was supposed to be like, haha, Multiverses is coming back. And I'm just sitting here and I was like, you took people's money and ran away for like a year. This isn't cute.
Like,
It's not funny.
if you bought, like, yeah, it was, if it was, it's a free to play. If any games are allowed to, like, fucking unlaunch and do shit, a free to play game is more allowed than a game that is costs you money up front. And if the money you're spending is on,
I think the dividing line is a game that charges you money ever and a game that doesn't charge you money ever.
like, the main thing I'd say is like the part where you just no one knew they were playing a beta, and like you kind of pretended it was by switching up the messaging at the last second is probably the goofiest part of that whole thing. It's like,
And all, like,
if
okay,
you,
so let's say it's an open beta. Let's say it's an open beta, right?
like,
Here's an open beta. It's not listed in the rules of society or whatever, but when you say open betas come out like 2 weeks before the full game. And then they go down for like a weekend.
yeah,
And then they come back as the 1.0.
like there's definitely the part where again, like you could have just played the game free to play and ignored all the micro stuff. But if you did spend money on it, like you not if you're buying it and there's stuff that's called like founders packs and things like that.
Two seasons.
If you're gonna, if like that's where you want to communicate very clearly to people that you are buying or spending money on something that is an open beta and can or will disappear and then relaunch or so. You want to be very transparent about that, and the fact that a lot of that language was not there at up front, it makes it seem as if, well, they weren't planning to unlaunch the game. It kind of was just, it was a launch, and then they went, we got to recalibrate, and then they switched the language up to be that it was a beta, and now it's kind of being like looked back in retrospect as an open beta, but at the time everyone thought, okay, well, no, the game's out, it's here, this is what we're doing, you know.
Everything about it was just so fucking weird.
Yeah,
and also,
I like, but like
it's coming back in May. God, that's like 11 months after they turned it off. That's ridiculous.
I think if it's if everybody knows what they're getting into from the jump, it's okay to do that. Especially if like you're basically just deciding between pulling it down, fixing shit, and bringing it back, or like canceling it or something. It's okay to do that to your game. It's just be very clear about what you're telling the players they're playing and what they're buying in on. You know.
So like they'll be like, dude, we never said we weren't gonna pull it down, blah blah blah, right? And you know what? That's true. They didn't ever say that it would never get pulled down or when the full release would be. That's true. They were just trading on 40 years of collective assumptions about the way betas work and how games come out.
Yeah. It definitely, and there was of course that period of time where it was like, we'll be back, and it's like, but what if you're not though? You know, there's always that concern. But
like this whole time, like with WB just burning every project to the ground, and they're like, multiverse is coming. Like, there's still a possibility this game gets canceled before May 28th.
If shit comes back and it's a better game, which I was enjoying it. If shit comes back and it's a better game and it ends up, succeeding better than it did at its initial launch.
Now.
Huh. Okay.
So it's actually a remake of Multiverses.
Technically, right? Yeah, I guess so. Then that's all fine and dandy, but like, yeah, the idea thing I think as well is like everyone who did spend everything is going to keep whatever they bought. I would say because of the level of like because of the lack of transparency in advance of what happened there, it would be very smart of them to be very generous about anybody who was a founder getting a bunch of shit going into whatever gets launched, you know. That would be the right move to make, and I hope they make a move like that. I
don't know how to. This is a really like highly specific emotion that maybe I am the only person who feels, but I feel it's like somewhat universal, which is like, they didn't lie technically, right? But like when you're like, hey, what the fuck, to somebody, and they look at you and go, well, I never said. It like that is like deeply unsatisfying as a conversational point.
Right. So I guess this is where you look at the alternative timeline and go, okay, so what if instead of going with the messaging of like, hey, we never said this wasn't not open beta, right? Instead of doing that, if you got, hey, we have some problems with the launch and things did not go as well as we planned, and we're going to take it back under the hood and fix some stuff and also try to and like, and just straight up go like, we're going to go fix this and fix problems, so we're going to go offline.
No, the way it came out was like, well, the beta period's over.
Like,
okay, we'll see you later for the final release. If we all knew.
Right, if the messaging was more honest, like it like that, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same situation, but like, yeah, at least people kind of know what's going on there. You probably also, with that more honest messaging, like piss off the the messaging is also to like massage, I'm sure, like investors and shit like that, versus the idea of a failed launch and then like, what do you mean something's wrong? What are you talking about? Why should I have faith in, and if you're looking at WB as a whole with what they're doing on every other front with the slash and burn tactics, them trying to protect everything about this project means they're going to like, yeah, exactly, like frame that messaging in a way where you kind of gaslight a little bit the past, but again, technically, no, it was technically, they did not lie about what the game was. They just didn't say fully.
This is me, and I'm not a game reviewer, and I don't know if that'll care for anybody. But like, for people that were interested in multiverses and played multiverses and enjoyed that open beta, I feel like there is one part of this that is unfortunate, which is like I was sitting there when they before I watched the video where they said, hey, we're going to go to Unreal 5 and we tuned up the netcode. I'm sitting there and I'm going like, man, I hope they redid every single piece of music in the entire game, because it was just so boring. And
okay,
we're gonna go back to the full release in May, and like if it's the same, I'm gonna be like, wow, you had like a full extra year to tune up these tracks and you just didn't.
I never thought about it until you just mentioned it, but like
exactly, you never thought about the music in Multiverses once.
All I'm hearing in my brain is just like mild orchestration, you know, like Overwatch main menu kind of thing. There was the orchestral Steven Universe intro that was like, oh yeah, there that is. But yeah, they should absolutely. That's a point too. That's a good point.
Like, this is really unfair, but their direct point of comparison is the greatest compiled soundtrack of any game of all time with Smash Ultimate.
With a Smash, yeah.
Right, like that's really unfair, but it's still your direct competitor.
Yeah, they gotta make a big old fucking, hey founders, we're gonna slob you.
They're gonna slob you.
We're gonna slob you up real nice with a whole bunch of shit. Thank you for paying early and then being okay with us stepping out for a pack of smokes for about a year.
We're going to give you that smoky slob.
Is it smoky because of the smoky eye mascara? Is that what you're going for? Like,
I didn't think about what I was saying before I said it, man.
That's a thing, you know. All right. Anyway.